Hey guys, Derek from Blue Collar Fisherman. Today's going to be another unboxing video. It's been relatively chilly where I am, so being a bank fisherman, it's been rather difficult to really pull in a good numbers to make a decent video. Ponds around me are pretty much non-existent as far as access goes. So what I've been doing is stockpiling, tackle warehouse, and making sure I have everything I'm going to need for spring, summer, fall, buying a little bit at a time. Today, I don't know what's in these boxes. I did the purchases, and so they ended up in a bunch of separate boxes. One box could just be fish and line and maybe a reel. The other box, I've gotten into some decent swim baits, some crankbaits that I'm going to need for spring, stuff like that. I have joined the Bass Opens, so as a co-angler, so I'm really going to have to try to stockpile and really go through what I'm going to need for these tournaments. And if there's any suggestions from co-anglers out there, please, I'm accepting to all of them. I need as much help as I can get, honestly. I've never done a co-angler before, but I thought it would be interesting considering, you know, it's usually the home lake. So I'm going to start off with just the smaller box and see what we have in there. This one it's a little bit light, so it may just be fish and line and maybe a fish and reel. Let's see. No, this is my jerkbait box. Okay, so I went through and I ordered, well, here we go. I wanted to try the Damiki rig, so I had actually ordered the Damiki Shad. Well, the issue is the Damiki Moon Eye that I ordered is, of course, on back order. And so that's going to be a while before I get to it. I went to Bass Pro Shop to find it, and it's sold out. But here's the Damiki Shad. It's almost like a just solid white. What is a specific color? And it doesn't say. Well, that's fine. Oh, there it is. This is the pearl white. This is the 4-inch anchovy shad. This one's suggested a lot with the Moon Eye, but I decided to give it a shot, and I'll have to either wait. I'm either going to wait until I get the Moon Eyes in, or I'm going to have to find them somewhere else. Then I have, let's see, this is the 110 plus, 110, 110, 110 plus, and 110. For the people that watched the last video, they know that I am a big, just lover of mega bass. And so what I have been doing, I have been loading up on mega bass jerkbaits. This is the 110 plus. These are the 4 to 9 foot jerkbaits. I know that Strike King does have the 11 foots, which would be nice. This is the mega bass sexy shad. It's got a really nice color to it. I've been using the junior version of it, and it's been doing phenomenal when I do get out there. Let's see, we also have the 110 in French Pearl. It's more of an off-white, really nice during the shad spawn, stuff like that. The reason I've been loading up on these is because I really don't have that many jerkbaits. I have some Rapalas and I have some mega bass, but I'm confined to an area with the smaller jerkbaits. So I've decided to go for the 4 to 9s or the 6 footers or stuff like that, where the shad haven't quite moved up to where you can easily access them with the jerkbait, but somewhere I could throw it in a canal, get deep into a canal, and then pull them from there. So we got, let's see, we got 2 110s. One of them I believe was on back order, which would make sense. Yeah, the sexy French Pearl and the 110 plus was on back order. A lot of stuff on Tackle Warehouse right now is in back order because it's just been hit so hard from Christmas. A lot of the stuff that you're getting is not going to come out until January, February. But as an ordering service, you can't beat Tackle Warehouse. You go, you drive. I have to drive almost an hour to get to Bass Pro Shop. It's connected to a big mall, and so it is packed 90% of the time. And a lot of times they run out of stuff just like Tackle Warehouse does. And it's just easier to avoid all the hassle just to go to Tackle Warehouse. Plus, they have a bigger selection. They have stuff you can't get at Bass Pro Shop. Those are just some of the Jerkbaits. Shirt, sticker. If anybody has any questions on how I fish my stuff, what line I fish it on, just let me know. I'll be glad to answer that. My some of my stuff may not be conventional, but it works extremely well for me, especially for jerkbaits. I kind of went with a off-the-wall Lose Mach 2 with some 12-pound fluorocarbon, and the sensitivity on that thing is insane with jerkbaits. It doesn't work them too hard because it's a 7-foot. You get too long of a rod on a jerkbait, you're moving it too far. So I got a 7-foot medium heavy fast tip, and it works amazing. All right, here is crankbaits. Crankbaits. These are the crankbaits I got for spring when they're not on that, when they're not quite on that big wobble yet, that flat 1.5. These ones will dive down to 8 feet, which I have for the most part down to 8 feet and 10 foot and past covered. I just don't have anything between 8 to 10 feet, which is really weird, I know. So I have loaded up on, let's see, here's a Series 4. This one does 5 to 8 feet. This is a Chartreuse Sexy Shad. This it's a little wider. I mean, it's definitely a wider bait. Just open it up. Why not? It's a lot wider bait than the other stuff that I ordered. This is for definitely when I get into the spring, late spring, early summer. I know a lot of guys that will use just the fat crankbaits all the way through spring, and that works. I mean, it does. I'm not gonna say it doesn't, because a lot of people catch on them. I just really like that tight wobble, especially when I'm running it through shad balls. I mean, and then a little bit of dirty water. Got the black back and the chartreuse, of course. That's killer at any kind of stained water. And it does occasionally stain up where I fish. Not a whole lot, but it does occasionally. Another shirt. Let's see what we got here. Oh, yeah. And then we got the tungsten 2-tap lipless crankbait. Now, I like the red eye shad. Red eye shad liplesses are great. And I haven't tried the 2 tungsten yet. I got this in the chrome black back. It's got a totally different sound than the other ones. So I got this in the 1/2 ounce, I think. Yeah, I got this in the 1/2 ounce. It's just a totally different sound. It seems a lot more subtle. So I'm hoping that'll help, especially throwing through a shad ball, stuff like that. Come this spring, that's going to be really nice as far as getting a nice lipless down where the shad balls are, and see when I can pull out. Now, here's my beauties. I was telling everybody I was going to get into swimbaits, and I've been trying to forever. I have the Jinkos and the Strike Kings and all that soft stuff. I do have some River to Sea glide baits, and I have some of the Spros. But I decided that it would be best for me, as far as getting into swimbaits, to just jump into swimbaits. So, what we have, I know a lot of people are going to recognize these, are bull shad. I got the slow sink, 6-inch. This is the thread fin. They are good looking baits, and from everything that I have seen, all the videos, all the reviews, these are supposed to be some of the most amazing swim baits out there. I mean, you've got your Roman mothers, they're $500. But for a good swim bait, everybody that I've talked to has basically said that these are almost impossible to beat. They catch big fish. They come with some sticky hooks. I know a lot of guys that will upgrade these hooks to bigger hooks just in case. I've seen the videos where they've lost giants and then upgraded their hooks. I have some Boyd Duckets, which are the 25 version of this. It's half the price. And they bent my hooks out. I got a big fish my first day out, and it just bent my hook out. So some suggest upsizing your hook. I'm going to throw it the way it came. I mean, it came this way for a reason. The guy probably, the guy who creates it obviously does this for a reason. But that's just, again, that's the threadfin shad. Big hands out of the way. That's the threadfin shad. The bull shad. I mean, it's a good looking bait. You can't deny that it's a good looking bait. Then we have, like I said, I kind of went all in. Another bull shad. This one is in Gizzard Slow Sink. And the reason I got them in slow sink is a lot of the times, well, that looks, a lot of the time around here, slow sink's just your best option. I mean, you have most of your shad, especially in the spring, are all within 10-15 feet. They're on hard rocks. They're on dams, they're on spillways, they're on trees, they're on... So most of the stuff around here is just really easy to get to. The only thing I noticed differently is the tail. As this one, this is the Gizzard Shad, has a much smaller thread. I don't know if that was intentional than this one. I'm gonna have to ask about that, because I don't know if that was intentional or not. But I'll ask around on that. But other than that, these are really nice swim baits. I mean, they're good and thick. They're solid. The hardware's thick. So we'll have to definitely see how these work. I'll probably be taking these out, I don't know, probably in the next month or so, and really just start hammering away with them. I have all the equipment to throw the stuff. I just haven't pulled the trigger yet. Let's see what else we got. Put this on the floor. Let's go with another small box before we get to the big box. This is, it sounds like there's something good in there. This may be my odds and ends box. I did order a bunch of random stuff. Alrighty. Another shirt. I should probably give some of these away. Oh yeah, here's our odds and ends box. Chinko booty shakers, 3.25s. Had nothing but luck out of them. Not going to change now. I got 3 packs of those. And then I got the 4.0s. The 4.0s haven't really done a lot for me yet, but that has to do with where I'm fishing. A lot of the places that I'm fishing just don't have the big fish right now. They're residential fish. They're not very big. I mean, it's a soft, super soft tail. The motion on these things are great. I mean, you do have to rig them straight. I mean, if you're not careful, you're going to end up getting wobble and stuff like that. But rigging them straight, they work amazing. And then I got some rod socks. But I got these because if I'm going to do the co-angler thing, I need to protect my rods. If I'm fishing, I need to protect my rods. And I've had to replace eyelets. I've had chipped eyelets. I've had broken eyelets. And I have to start really wrapping my rods together and really just keeping track of them and keeping them in good health. Because I can't keep, I mean, I buy reels and I buy lures, but to continuously keep buying and buying and buying rods and reels because I keep breaking them, that gets expensive, especially considering blue-collar fishermen. You got to work pretty hard to start really being able to accumulate a good collection. I mean, these are the basic, the rod socks. They got the nice hard tip versus the cheaper ones that have that flat top across, and then your tip can go out the mesh and then mess that up. All right, and then I've got Evergreen 105. Now, I started Evergreen with the bluegill. I started fishing Evergreen with the bluegill, and that's what this one is. But I got the big version. I got like the 125. First day I took it out, 4-pounder topwater. Ever since then, fell in love with these pencil poppers. So I decided to go with the 105 in the bluegill. I have pearl or bone, and I have emerald shiner or blueback herring, whatever it is. And they're phenomenal. I mean, and the amount of water they displace is amazing. Now, if you're going for subtle, of course, you want a regular walk the dog popper, stuff like that. But if you're throwing like open, or if you can find shad balls, these will call them up. I got the bluegill because, of course, we all know the shad bite isn't all the time. So when the bluegill bite comes around, I have a few bluegill topwater, but not as many as I should have. Then we got some rod wraps. This is just to keep my rods together after I put the socks on them, and then I can carry them around easier. Some mop jigs. I've really kind of like these mop jigs. I had a few coming, but you know, back order. They're a little long, I know, but when you put them in the water, it's nice to see that they actually move. And the first time I tied one of these mop jigs on, it was already getting really cold, and the place where we were fishing was pretty empty. So I threw one of these mop jigs on. Not a huge jig person. I know that's odd for a lot of people, but I'm not a huge jig person. And I threw one of these on, and I caught a nice fish. And it was, caught another one. So it's more of a confidence jig for me versus a Strike King, where I really don't catch that many fish on Strike King jigs. This has kind of become a confidence bait. So I take these with me when I go out fishing now, and they've done pretty good. They catch at least a couple in areas where I'm not catching anything. And then I have more topwater. I got a bunch of these, so I'm just gonna pull one out. Whopper Plopper 110, but I got it. Finally, they came out with a chrome. They finally came out with a chrome 110, which is awesome. I've been looking for chrome Whopper Ploppers for a while. I knew they had the orange belly or the orange crush, whatever it is, but I was just looking for a straight chrome. And when you're fishing my Shad Lake, chrome in the sunlight just does phenomenal work. I got 3 of those because who knows who's going to be fishing with and who's going to need them. I do go fishing with people a lot, and a lot of times they don't have what they're biting, and so just let them use what I got. Okay, let's see. This is probably fishing line because I haven't run into it yet. This is probably fishing line and a fishing reel. That'd be my guess. And I would be correct. Okay. So normally I throw spider wire. I know a lot of people hate it, but I grew up on it. So spider wire gets thrown a lot. However, I've decided to try the sniper. And the reason I decided to try sniper is because everybody that I know loves this stuff. And I mean, it's expensive for for fluorocarbon, but I got a 12 and an 18 just for a quick one for jerkbaits and one for swimbaits, stuff like that. And then I got, because so many people have been talking about mono on their spinning cast. Now, I've been using mono backing on my spin casters for a long time. And for some reason, it's just now become prevalent. So what I'll use is I'll use a 10-pound braid spider wire backing, and then I'll use a 10-pound mono ultimate spider wire leader. It really doesn't do anything but help your cast. Now, if you're fishing muddy water, doesn't matter. You can just use straight braid. The fluoro or the mono really helps if you're doing stuff like poppers. I know a lot of guys that throw poppers on spin casters. I prefer to throw them on bait casters, but they throw them on spin casters. And when it comes to poppers, more mono from spider wire. It's 14-pound. I'll usually throw on that. And I'll throw my jerkbaits on the 12-pound fluoro. I'll throw my spinnerbaits on the 12-pound fluoro. I'll throw my jigs mostly on the 12-pound fluoro. The 18-pound fluoro comes out when I have to do heavy cover or bigger baits, or I want it to stay higher up in the water column. Let's see. And then I got a reel, and the reason I bought this reel is because I had one almost 5 years ago. I am rough on my equipment. I still have the rods from when I bought the rod and reel combos. And the reel, the only downfall I have is the reel brakes are plastic, which sounds like a really crappy idea, and it kind of is. But it is a Skeet Reese Victory 2. For their price range, they're great. They're $79. They can take braid, they can take mono, they'll take fluoro, and they will cast it a mile. When I first got this reel years ago, I threw 20-pound braid on it, and I could feel everything. I mean, I know a lot of that has to do with the braid, but it took a lot of abuse. It really did. The poor thing took, it took a lot of abuse. So when I seen that they were, $79, and I'm left-handed, so it's hard to find a decent reel left-handed. I got another one coming. I got a Concept Z that's on its way whenever they get in stock. But this is just a good all-around reel. It's not your high-end, focus on just one type of fishing reel. This is a great reel. I mean, I can throw anything with this reel. And it stays smooth. I mean, it really does. It stays smooth for a long time. You take care of it, it stays smooth. My issue was the brakes broke. I even replaced the inside. But it seems when I replaced it, it didn't fit the same. It didn't have the same smoothness to it. It just didn't work. So I put that aside probably the beginning of this year. And I wasn't going to get another one, but they're $79. And they'll last me probably another 5 years. And they'll do their job. They're not going to fail on me until the brake fails, which I hope is not for a while. But I just don't understand why they put plastic in it. But that being said, for $79 for a first bait caster, this is a great bait caster. Now I know there's also a KVD in this price range, and I haven't gotten it because of all the reviews I've read. It breaks a lot and it breaks fast. But as far as a starter, if you don't want to go super expensive, which I didn't, because it was my first bait caster years ago, and I didn't want to, invest all that money into it and then break it. A Wright and McGill, they have it at Tackle Warehouse. They have more for right-handed, of course, 7-3, 6-3. I think they even have a 5-3. But for left-handed, you get a 7-3-1. That's what they have for you, and I don't even think they make a 6-6-1 left-handed. I haven't seen any. I've always seen the 7-3. But for your overall reel, this is going to be a great starter reel. That seems to be about it. Now I'm overflowing with Tackle Warehouse shirts. I'll probably give a few of those away. But other than that, it's prepping for a new year. I know there's a lot of guys out there that are preparing for a new year. And all I can say is Tackle Warehouse. You got the time. You don't have to rush the lures. Just Tackle Warehouse is the place to go. And when they have their sales, a lot of people said this year was disappointing, but it was still really good sales. These are sales that you're not going to find at a lot of places. I would, for the people that are really wanting to stretch their money, wait till February when most places put your stuff on sale. You know, your Bass Pro Shops, your Tackle Warehouse, stuff like that. But I would always recommend shopping at Tackle Warehouse. If there are any concerns, if there's any questions, please go ahead and comment below. Just let me know what you think. All right, I appreciate it.